Hello, this is Rich Bankett with my second AutoCAD video, and in this video we're going to draw the following object on the screen. To do this, first let me describe the object. It's a square. Its dimensions are 10 by 10. The corners are rounded, or as we say in drafting, they're filleted, and then it has a circle located in the center of the object with the diameter of 4.0. Before we get started, one of the things that we want to check and be sure of, and since we're going to draw the square first and we're going to leave off the rounded corners, we're going to draw them with square corners, and then we'll fillet them later. I want to make sure that my ortho is turned on here, and so I'm going to click with the ortho turned on. I can toggle it on and off, turn it on. Start, I'm going to use line, or I can type L on the keyboard and then hit enter. And one of the things that is helpful is notice that if you read the command line here at the bottom, it prompts me for what I want to do next, and it says specify the first point, and I can click anywhere. And then notice, because I have ortho, I can only draw lines in 4 directions. I want to draw the right. My dynamic input is on, and so it's looking for me to enter a distance, and I could either click down with the mouse and enter a distance, or I could do it from the keyboard, hit 10 and then hit enter as well, and then it draws a length of 10. And really, AutoCAD, unlike some of the parametric modeling programs, I must tell it distance and direction when I draw lines exactly. I can't draw them and rescale them later easily. So now I want to go vertical a distance of 10, and I can enter 10. One of the things that you'll find in AutoCAD that makes things a lot easier, instead of using the enter key, is that when you draw, use the space bar and your left hand to, if you're right-handed mouse, to control enter, and escape key to get out of commands. And so I hit 10, I hit the space bar, enter. I move over, I type 10, I hit the space bar, and then I can close this by clicking here. Notice that my snaps turned on, so it finds that endpoint, and I can click here. Now I can draw any of these directions. Still, to exit the line command, I hit the escape key, and it takes me out of the line command. Just a tip, if I were doing this again, I could do the same thing. Line, hit the space bar, click down, drag to the right, 10, space bar, push up, 10, space bar, to left, 10, space bar. And then when I'm coming down, since I'm still in the line command, I haven't exited, if I type C and hit enter, it closes the thing and closes my shape and exits the line command. It's a little bit faster, and just a tip. And so C is close. Now that I've drawn an extra square that I don't need, I need to delete it. And so I have a couple different options for deleting it. One, I could select the lines individually by one, and then delete them. And that would take a little bit, and probably not the preferred method. So there are 2 ways to select in AutoCAD, or actually there are 4 ways that are predominantly used. And so if I hit the escape key, you can always hit the escape key and it turns off anything that you selected. So first of all, if I single click down and release, I can draw a box from upper left to lower right, and it's blue, and anything that's fully contained in the box will be selected. So notice that this doesn't contain the far line on the right fully, or the upper and lower lines. And so if I do this and select down, only the left hand line is selected. But so to select the whole box, everything must be inside the box is selected, and then all of it selected. To unselect again, you hit escape. If I click down in the lower right and move up and to the left, I get a green box, and anything that the green box touches is selected. And so if I do this, I should get 3 sides. Those 3 sides are selected, and then I can add that one on, or hit the escape key and then select here, and then the whole box is selected. So those are the first 2 ways to select. The second way is that if I click down and hold, I get blue box, but I get Lasso. and only one line selected there because I didn't lasso fully everything. Or if I click here and then go up and I'm holding down the mouse key on selection, anything that green box touches will be selected and I get everything. I typically don't use the lasso select. I know some folks do. I typically use the rectangle select, either this way or typically the up way. So select that, and to delete it, I just hit the delete key and it'll remove it from the screen. Okay, so a little bit about selection in AutoCAD, and I think you'll find those useful as you practice. The next thing I'd like to do, at least moving on in my drawing, is I'd like to locate, oops, I zoomed, accidentally hit the mouse rolly ball. So a quick navigation tip, if I use the mouse rolly ball, it'll zoom to the mouse, and if I click down on the rolly ball, it will pan. And so I can zoom in and pan to get it back. And so in or out, and then if I click down, I can pan. So let's go back in there, and then I'll pan it over so I keep in the right location. So one way to zoom in and out. We'll talk a little bit more about zoom in some upcoming videos. The next thing I'd like to do is that I'd like to add this circle, but I don't know where to locate this circle because how do I find the center of the square? And AutoCAD doesn't really have a way to find centers, so I must create some geometry to find the center. So before I do, though, I want to make sure in my snaps, if I open my snap setting, that my midpoints are turned on. So the third tab over, Object Snap, and notice that I both have midpoint and intersection turned on, so I should be good to go. And if not, then select them and turn them on, and then click OK. So if I draw, I want to add a construction line, so I hit L, hit the space bar, and then I put a line from here to here. Notice that the green space bars are selected, and I'm on Ortho, and then hit the escape key, line, space bar, and across the middle, and then that is my center of my circle. I could use circle from up here or type C for circle, hit the space bar. It enters, it's looking for the entry of a radius, and if I enter 2 and hit the space bar, enter, there's my circle. And I want to delete these two lines since I no longer need them. I could try to select them and delete them, but typically the green over and green over, select them both and hit delete, and they're gone. So we've created the square, but we haven't rounded the edges over, or we call those fillets in AutoCAD, so that'd be the final thing I'd like to do. I could select fillet from the menu here, or type F, hit the space bar, fillet. It prompts me for what type of fillet I'd like to do, and I'd like to do a radius fillet, radius space bar, and specify the radius 0.5, enter, and then select the first object. So I select this corner, and select enter, and I've done a fillet. Now if I'd like to repeat this command, if I could type F again and go through and have to set everything up, or AutoCAD has a feature again where if I hit the space bar, it repeats the last command. So space bar, click, click, space bar, click, click, space bar, click, click, and then I've rounded the corners over. And if you get messed up in the fillet command, sometimes the thing is to just escape out of it and then go back in and start again. And it takes a little practice to get your rhythm down, but I think you'll find it useful. Obviously, this isn't a complicated drawing to make, but you need to draw it several times until you can develop proficiency in using line, selection tools, circle, and fillet.